Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So we move on to the next chapter of our curriculum, which discusses using a dictionary, an Arabic dictionary. So there are many Arabic dictionaries available online for looking up the meanings of words and the family to which a fi'l belongs to, as well as other things as well. So most Arabic dictionaries will require the 3 root letters of the word being searched for. So the following is an example of a website which contains many Arabic dictionaries and how it can be used to search Arabic words. So it's called ijtal.net. So we just got some screenshots of the website. So this comes up when you go to ijtal.net. So you want to click the first bullet point, which is called Arabic Almanac, and then so in this example, we're going to use the first dictionary that's on this list. So if you scroll down the website, you'll see many different dictionaries. So the first one is called the Hans Wehr Fourth Edition Dictionary, and it's the first one. And so if you top right corner, if you hit the button search, this shows you a box that you need to type in the 3 root letters. So we enter the 3 root letters. For example, in this search, we're going to try to identify what does Nasara mean. So the root letters is, the first is the Noon, the second is the Saad, the third is the Ra. And then you may have to scroll back and forth a few pages until the correct one is found. So just bear in mind it's the first dictionary, the first one at the top, because if you keep scrolling down, you'll find other dictionaries. So if we stick with the first one, the Hans Wehr at the top, then you might need to scroll back and forth, forward and back, just to find the correct word sometimes. And then you can see that its meanings are discussed when applied to the different families. So if you look at it, let's say where it says, you can see the Roman numerals. So you can see the number 2, it says to become a Christian, to convert to Christianity. And then straight after that, the third, you can see that's the third family. Family 3, it means to help, to assist. So if you put these 3 root letters into the different families, it means this. So for example, the second family, if you remember, is the Fa'ala, Yufa'ilu family. So if you put Noon, Saad and Ra into the second family too, so it becomes Nassara, that actually means to convert to Christianity. Or if you put into the third family, which is Fa'ala, Yufa'ilu, so it becomes Nasara, that means to help or aid, and etc. etc. Then family 5, family 8. But if we break down the first, so if you notice the first line where it says Nasara, then there's a U and then there's brackets and it says Nasar, and then which means to help. So if we break down just that line, we're just looking at the first line now. So the Nasara is the first three root letters that you looked up, we searched for, and the second is Nasara. And this tells you what the word is in the past tense. So this word that says Nasara, the first we're looking at the first box on the left side, and it's pointing to the word Nasara. So it tells you what the word is in the past tense. So if you say it, you can hear Nasara. So you can hear the all fatah sounds. That's why you can see I've written down Nasara. So if it said Nasira, then you can hear that the second letter has a kasra. So it'd be fatah, kasra, fatah. But if it said Nasura, then you can hear that, oh, the second is su. So it'd be fatah, dhamma, fatah. Like that. So you have to, when you say it, when you read it, you have to listen to it to work out what the harakat are. Now the second box, which is pointing to the letter U, it tells you what the harakat on the second root letter in the present tense is. So for example, it's Nasara, and because this is a small family, it's going to be, Yan something something. And we know already that the first, the Ya will take a fatah. We already know that because that's classical for small families. We already know the last letter is going to take a dhamma, because again, that's what happens in the present tense. That when you shift from past to present, you add the Ya at the start, and the last letter takes a dhamma, so we already know that. And then we already know that the first root letter is going to take a sukoon, because it's always, for example, if it's the fa'ala yaf alu, for example, we know it becomes, fa'ala becomes yaf alu. So that we know already the noon is going to take a sukoon. So the only letter that we don't know is the second root letter, which is the sad. That in the present tense, what is it going to be? Is it going to be a fatha? Is it going to be a kasra? Is it going to be a dhamma? And that letter that you can see, it says U, that tells you it makes a U sound. And the U sound represents dhamma. If you saw an I, that represents the E sound, so that means that second root letter, the sad, will take a kasra. So it'd be yan siru. So the first one, the U, means that it makes a U sound, which is a dhamma. So the present tense will be yan suru. If it was an I there instead of a U, then that means it's a kasra, it makes a E sound. So it'd be, the present tense will be yan siru. Or if the letter there was A, then that makes a R sound, which is a fatha. So it'd be yan saru. So because there's an U there, a U there, it makes a U sound. So therefore we know now that the present tense is yan suru. So bear in mind, we already know, because of the sarf that we've memorized, the template that we've memorized, that the present tense, the ya will have a fatha, the first root letter noon will have a sukoon, and the last root letter ra will have a dhamma. So the only thing we don't know is what the second root letter has, whether it's fatha, kasra or dhamma. And that letter that you see that says a U will tell you what that harakat is. Then if you move on to where the brackets is, this is the masdar which is shown within the brackets. So nasran, or it could be nasurun as well. So it can be two masdars. And then at the end you see it means to help, and that's the meaning in English, to help. So if we look at another example, how to use a dictionary using a fi'l from the big families. So the example word we'll look at, or we need to look up, is the word yuslimu. So this is a present tense fi'l in the huwa version, and the reason why is because you can see the ya with the dhamma at the start and the dhamma on the last letter at the end indicates that. So if you remember with present tense, huwa version, the end, the start, the first letter is ya, the end ends with dhamma. And also the ya with the dhamma at the start you'll only find it in families 2, 3 and 4. You won't find it in the other families. In the present tense we're talking about. So it cannot be from family 2, because the family 2, if you know, it says fa'ala yufa'ilu, it has a shadda in that, and our example doesn't have a shadda. And it can't be family 3, which is fa'ala yufa'ilu, and again because the family has an extra alif added to it, which our one doesn't have, yuslimu doesn't have, and therefore it must be family 4, which is afala yuf'ilu, so it's aslama yuslimu. So therefore we can work out from there that the 3 root letters are sin, lam and mim, because we already know that if you look at yuslimu, the ya at the start is an add-on. So the 3 root letters is sin, lam and mim. And if we insert these 3 root letters into the Arabic dictionary, as we've discussed earlier, we can see that it comes up. You might have to move a few pages back or forth to find it, but it is there. And just as a note, that the first line in the dictionary discusses the 3 root letters in the small families. So we'll discuss that just as an example, even though the word we're looking for, yuslimu, is in family 4, so it's not in the small families, but just as an example we'll go through the small families. So if you look at the first line, you can see that the first box on the left side, it says it tells you what the word is in the past tense. So if you look at the word in English, it says salima. So because of the sa, that you can hear the R sound, so the sin takes a fatha, li, so the lam takes a kasra, and ma, the mim takes a fatha, so you know it's salima. But because if we look at the small families, there's more than one that starts with fa'ila, and the present tense is something else. So it can be, for example, fa'ila yafalu, or fa'ila yaf'ilu. So we don't know that. So in order to know which subfamily is specifically, we look at the next letter, and you can see that letter A, it tells you what the harakat on the second root letter in the present tense is. So meaning the second root letter is lam in the present tense, will have a fatha. Because if the letter in the dictionary is a U, then it means a Dhamma. So it'd be Yaslumu. If it was a I instead of the A, it would take a Kasra, so it'd be Yaslimu. And because it's an A, it takes a Fatha, which means Yaslamu. So bear in mind that in the present tense small families, we already know that the first letter Ya has a Fatha. So we already know that. We know the first root letter Sin has a Sukoon, because it's always like Salama Yaslimu or Saluma Yaslumu. So the Sin will always take the Sukoon, so we already know that. And the last letter, the third root letter Mim, we already know it takes a Dhamma. The only thing we don't know is what the second root letter, which is Lam in this case, in the present tense, what harakat it follows, whether it's a Dhamma, whether it's a Fatha or it's a Kasra. So that letter A in the dictionary line tells you that that second root letter takes a Fatha. The next box, the third one, the masdar is shown within the bracket, so it's salamatun, because you can see that there's a ta mabuta at the end, so salamatun, or even salamun as well. So there's two masdars. And then the rest, which is in English, it tells you the meaning in English. So in the small families, it means to be safe and sound, unharmed. But as the word we're looking for, Yuslimu, is from the family for, then we have to search for the family for in order to find its meaning. And this particular Arabic dictionary uses Roman numerals. So Roman numerals, the for is the letter I, capitalized I with the V. So if we look for it, so it's quite long, so you can see that there's in this whole sort of paragraph, you can see that family 2 is there, and then Roman numerals straight after it means to preserve. So if you put this word, these 3 root letters, into the second root family, it means family 2, it means to preserve. So if you said Sallama, that means to preserve, meaning to preserve someone else or something else. If you scroll right down, you can see that there's a family 4, and it starts with to forsake, leave, desert, give up, but the most popular meaning is the one that's pointed with the red arrow. It means to commit, to resign to the will of God, to the will of Allah. So meaning to become a Muslim, aslama yuslimu. So as per usual, we always advise that when you reach the end of a chapter, to go over the vocabulary chapter at the end of this book. Ideally at the end of every session this curriculum is studied, so that your Arabic grammar knowledge grows with your vocab knowledge, inshallah.